Everybody has a childhood fear at some point, whether it's like an episode of a show that you watched that scared you a ton, or like a phobia that you had when you were younger. I personally was afraid of bees, but that's not really what I'm going to be talking about in this video when it comes to my fears. But I think for most, creepypastas have always been a huge thing. It's basically like a more modern urban legend type thing. Like, who hasn't heard the urban legend of Slender Man or Jeff the Killer? Who hasn't heard urban legends of lost episodes or cursed game files? Those seem to be a very popular one. In this video, I'm going to be talking about one creepypasta that absolutely scared me when I was younger. The dogs are barking. Creepypastas have always affected me when I was younger. Not because the stories were good. Oh no, the stories were complete trash. What really scared me was the images affiliated with the stories. And one that I'm going to be talking about today has affected me for a long time now. And I don't really know why. Like, my backstory with this is really stupid, but I thought it'd make a great video, so here I am. The story in question is Red Mist. It also goes by another name that I'm not allowed to say on YouTube. Otherwise, I would probably get my video taken down. But if you know what Red Mist is, you'd probably... If you don't know what Red Mist is, I'm sure a certain image would be very familiar with you. The image that I'm showing on screen is what people tend to think about when they think about Red Mist. Now, this image has lived rent-free in my head for so long when I was little. It made me lose sleep. Whenever I would close my eyes, all I could see is just Squidward staring at me. And like, it's come to a point where I was just super afraid to watch SpongeBob because in the back of my head, I thought like that episode would just appear, even though it wouldn't really make sense for it to appear. Or so I thought. Now, if you actually look back on the story, it's not good. There's a bunch of cliches. There's a bunch of like weird, weird things that you kind of question. Like, for example, this person said that they worked at Nickelodeon. Don't see the proof behind it. I personally wouldn't believe him. I don't even think he believes himself. Like, most of the story, he's like, take my word for it, guys. I truly worked at Nickelodeon. No lie about it. But he goes on about talking about the episode, and it's like, Squidward was warned by this Scottish fish about red mist, and then he goes to a recital, like a clarinet recital, and he does badly, everybody boos him, and he just walks and walks and walks and walks. It really likes to talk about how long he's been walking for some reason. And then he's sitting in his room, still very long, still really likes to talk about how much he's sitting in his room. And there was one point in the story that, like, he made me kind of annoyed. It was like, it said, oh yeah, like, the crying sounded so real. It didn't sound like it was coming out of the speakers, but rather the holes inside of the speakers. And I'm like, oh really? So the speaker? Anyway, it then cuts to like Squidward just doing something bad to himself. Let's just say that. And then cuts to him making a creepy face, and boom, episode's over. Now, the description itself, pretty terrible. But the only reason why this image stuck out in my head is because of that one image. That one image in the entire thing. I thought Squidward was going to jump me. Not helping that I had the mental picture in my head of him holding a shotgun, because, you know, he had a shotgun in the story. And when you're looking at a creepy image of Squidward, logic kind of jumps out the window. I never questioned how an octopus would break into my house without dying because it's off sea and on land, but that didn't matter to me. This one story, this one experience I had when I first saw the image, I just couldn't shake it off my head. My dad took me to a Dairy Queen as like a special treat for something, I forgot. And it was nighttime, and there was this huge window beside our seat. And so I looked out the window, and my schizo-paranoid brain decided to put Squidward in front of that window, just inside my head. And I thought he was, like, running towards me. My brain was doing, like, mental gymnastics. And I was like, we gotta get out of here now. Squidward is going to kill us. And my dad's looking at me like I'm crazy. And so now whenever I went to sleep, like, that image has just been in my head. Of course, it's funny to look back on now. I'm not scared of the image anymore. But remembering that, even though it was horrifying at the time, is now just a hilarious story. Also, another fun fact about me in this story, I thought that this was so horrifying, I was gonna dress up as Squidward for Halloween. Not because I thought it'd be silly, but because I thought it was just that terrifying. Of course, that's a stupid idea, so I didn't end up doing it. I kind of forgot what I dressed up as that year, but anyway. It's just weird that it was that one creepypasta. No other creepypasta fazed me except maybe Ben Drowned, which I think is a way better creepypasta. I appreciate creepypastas though, especially stories like Red Mist, because even though they're genuinely terrible, that memory of that one time it actually scared you still stays with you, and it's like a fun memory to look back on. Of course, not a fun memory to live, but to look back on. It's definitely a fun little memory lane type thing. There was also this other creepypasta, a little bonus rant here. I think it was called Tom's Basement, and it was a Tom and Jerry creepypasta, where, like, this doctor guy is, like, going up to Tom, he's like, "Don't you dare go in that basement, Tom. You goofy goober. Don't go in there." And then, for some reason, the doctor just threw him in there anyway. For no reason. And Jerry was just sitting in the basement, and he was just stabbing at Tom's legs. And I think there's another image online that you can find of that. I'm not gonna look it up, but I don't know, it's just Jerry with a weird smile. Like, very odd, like, triangle-mouthed smile from what I remember. And, like, him holding a knife or something. Not really a scary story, kind of confusing. But, again, it also scared me when I was younger, so I can't really be one to talk. I don't know, maybe I'll read it at some point. Maybe I'll make a video of reading old creepypastas that I remember one day. But as of right now, that's basically my whole rant on childhood fears. I didn't really have any other childhood fears besides that. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.